Hello and welcome to the Sherlock Reel. My name is Carl Sherlock, and yes, this is looking a bit differently than usual. Right before the show, major technical difficulties, laptop went down, and this is all going off my phone there today. So hopefully it's all looking well, and everybody can hear us perfectly. But as I said, my name is Carl Sherlock, and today we have the meme queen herself. It's Jen Kemp.
Hi, thanks for having me back. I'm very excited. I love animated movies and I absolutely love DreamWorks stuff. And I'm finding as we're going through here that I have no idea what I'm going to pick today. So that's exciting. But yeah, I'm excited to be back and going to be fun. The show must go on.
Perfect.
Okay.
The show must go on, and also a regular at this stage to the Sherlock Reel. We have from Retrotainment. We have Ted.
Good guy Ted here. How's it going, lads? Um, I love the old animated films. Obviously, my favourite one's not in here. It's not DreamWorks, but we know it would win anyway, so it's fine.
Jen, just in case you don't know, Ted is the biggest proponent of Space Jam you will ever see.
Yes.
It's the greatest film ever made. The greatest film ever made.
How do you feel about the reboot or whatever they're going to call it? Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
We'll see.
It won't live up. I know it won't live up because if you're the greatest film ever made, nothing is going to live up to being that. So
It's fair.
That's perfect. Now, as you can see from the title there today, we are going to be talking about DreamWorks animation, and there are two more guests that's due to come on the show, but they're just running a bit behind. So when they come in, they'll also be able to throw in their votes wherever we are in the tournament. But to start off, I've done this whole list out in order of release date, so that's how they're going to be going up against each other. So it's not the best or the worst; it's release date going all the way through. So to start it off, we have a tough one, and we'll start it off with Ted yourself. It's going to be Ants going up against the Prince of Egypt.
I think ants maybe.
Vote for Ants. Okay.
Yeah.
And Jen, what do you think?
Oh man, this is going to be really interesting with the release dates. I have to throw it to Prince of Egypt. I feel like this is going to go a long way. But having said that, I like it. I think it's very odd. It is definitely more of an adult kind of film in terms of the animated franchises. But yeah, it came out at the same time as Bug's Life, so definitely gets a little maligned in that way. But I think it is a very interesting film in its own right, and I feel like a lot of people kind of either threw it off and didn't bother with it or haven't revisited it in a long time. But it is interesting and it's funny. There is a very big A-list cast in there. But yeah, Prince of Egypt is a masterpiece that I think we're going to be talking about for a little while here, so I'm not going to go too far into it, but Prince of Egypt.
Perfect. That's a vote for Prince of Egypt, and I'm going to go the same way. To be honest, Prince of Egypt definitely gets my vote. They have a beautiful cast in the film as well. But the thing with Ants, just have to throw in a little bit. It is a good movie, but there's no way you can watch a movie and not compare it to A Bug's Life, I think.
See, that's its biggest pitfall is that it came out around that time, and
a lot of people don't even like A Bug's Life, which is very unfair to me. I love that film, but yeah.
I love it as well. But Bug's Life definitely over Ants, and therefore Prince of Egypt over Ants. So the next one is, and obviously just going forward, there has been 39 releases from DreamWorks. They've released 39 films, so there's 7 movies obviously not on this list. I can't think of exactly where they should be on this, but of course that's why there's going to be some gaps, as there's meant to be a movie in between there if you are looking at the release dates. But we're going to start off with the second one here, with The Road to Eldorado up against Chicken Run.
Oh.
Jen, we'll leave the honors to you.
Oh no, I love these two films. Oh my god. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, just because I feel like there is another Aardman Films animation thing on the list, I'm gonna go for Road to Eldorado because I gotta say the bromance between Tulio and Miguel, Kevin Kline, and Kenneth Branagh, it is one of my favorite just film bromances of all time, and it's so apparent that they did the voice work in the same room and everything and play off each other so well. And I think it's just such a creative story, and it's got the music from Elton John, and it's really colorful and creative. And I really like seeing that. And it's also a look at a culture that doesn't really get shown a lot in films, particularly for children too. But yeah, I absolutely love Chicken Run though, so this kind of hurts me. But I'm going to throw it to Road to Eldorado.
Road to Eldorado gets one vote. I'm going the opposite ways. Chicken Run for me. I just love this movie, and I can specifically remember going to the cinema to see it. Obviously, I grew up going to cinema as a kid almost every weekend. But Chicken Run is one that really stands out for me. I don't know why, and then it became kind of a tradition to watch it every Stephen's Day or the day after Christmas. When I was a kid, we used to always throw this particular movie on, and I just loved it. I laugh out loud every time I see it. And the weird thing that happens every couple of years, they come up and say they're making a second one. Did I see that last year or something that the second one's coming? Yeah.
It takes them so long to do the claymation that who knows, it still might be in production, but I would love to see that. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll hey Jordan, you're here just in time. We'll we'll give you the vote in on the next one. But it's one vote to Chicken Run here now as well. So Ted, why don't you finish off the vote for this one?
I don't know. Like they're both really really good films. Both in their own different way. Chicken Run is like it's a special one because it's quite different to all the other animations because of it being a claymation, and it's very Wallace and Gromit-esque, which you don't see a whole lot of anymore at all. But I don't know. Road to Eldorado really does have it's hit like it's got so much memes and stuff from it as well that it's really stood the test of time. I think it has to go there.
Okay, that's 2 for Road to Eldorado. So Road to Eldorado goes through and Chicken Run goes out.
I'm so sorry, Chicken Run. It's brilliant. It is a brilliant film, and I feel bad about it, but yeah.
You're hurting my childhood here. So Jordan, you've just joined us, and you get the delight to vote first on this one. And because it is release date, it's going to be Shrek up against Shrek 2.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's interesting.
Easy.
Well, I do want to point out just as I just jumped on the stream, I used to work at AMC Theaters. This is my only DreamWorks shirt I have for Abominable, so I got to represent DreamWorks, you know. So, but
lovely.
So Shrek versus Shrek 2. I think for me, like it's not really too tough for me. I got to go Shrek 2. I love the second Shrek just because that's when we get introduced to Puss in Boots. That's when you have the fairy godmother. You have Shrek turning into a human, like a prince, and then you have Donkey turning into a steed. She said it was a steed. So I mean, and also I love the scene. Like at the very end, there's like a chase scene where they're playing "Holding Out for a Hero." That's like pretty epic. That like I just love that scene. Even the version of the song I really like. So yeah, my vote goes to Shrek 2.
Well, I'm kind of surprised there. I'm not voting here now as there's 4 people in the room. So Ted, what about yourself?
Good guy, Ted. Shrek 1, obviously. No, Shrek 2 is very good, but the best thing about Shrek 2 is the massive gingerbread man. That's the best thing about Shrek 2.
Mongo.
Yeah,
there's a lot
massive. No, that's the best bit. The fact that he's absolutely massive and wrecks everyone, that's the best bit. But Shrek 1 is just... no one was expecting that to be as good as it was. Like, I remember that came out and I was like, yeah, I'll go see it. Like, it'll be fine. And then it kicked off. It's one of the best animated films, I think, that's going to be on this list. Like, this will easily get close to the final, I'd say. So Shrek for me.
20 years old. 20 years old now this
God.
year. Yeah, that makes me feel old.
Don't make us. Don't do that to us.
I know. See, the thing is with Shrek and Shrek 2, obviously I'm not voting here, so I'm just trying to sway
me, please.
Persuade you on there. I prefer Shrek 1 as a film. I think it's a better film, but there's better moments in Shrek 2. You know, you have the whole thing going on with the immigrant song. out of nowhere in Shrek 2, or you have
Oh, that's Shrek the Third.
the
I'm gonna be
Steed.
fair here. That's in Shrek the Third.
Oh, that's Shrek the
That
Third.
is
Well,
Shrek the Third.
I'm getting that mixed up then. Sorry, sorry, yes, that is Shrek the Third. But I mean, well, there you go. I just get that
There you
confused.
go.
That gives it a Shrek. That has to give it a
Yeah,
Shrek.
see, that's it. Shrek 2 and Shrek 3 are very interchangeable. Shrek 2 relied on kind of cheaper laughs, whereas Shrek 1, the story was just a lot better from start to beginning in Shrek 1.
And considering the trouble they had when they were making it, with the passing of Chris Farley when they were almost finished the film, and then obviously Mike Myers comes in and kills it.
Yeah,
absolutely kills it as Shrek. It's up to you, Jen, but I would be going with Shrek.
This is
Shrek
very
2,
hard.
though, you got the struggle of human and ogre, and it's a love story. Does he want to remain an ogre for his true love, or does he want to become a human and get rid of the stigma of being an ogre? So
I mean, I've seen that film. It's called The Little Mermaid, and it didn't work out so well for her. But yeah, this is a lot closer than I actually thought it would be, because it is very difficult. Because Shrek 2, it really did expand the world that was created in the first film, and there's so much like the additional characters of like the fairy godmother Jennifer Saunders. She kills that song, like that whole montage. That is just a great chase scene, a great musical scene. It's beautiful. However, I think I'm slightly going to give the edge to the original Shrek, because this is like, it is based on a book, but the book itself is like, it's a picture book. It's very bare bones. So like they really went above and beyond turning it into something completely new. It's a very unique adaptation in that way. And like at the time it was the beginning of like CGI. I remember having the DVD and like they have all the screen tests and everything, and how they struggled for a really long time to get like just the velvet dress and everything to work out. So a lot of work went into it, and the writing is just superb. I love like all of the little songs they did for like just the little Welcome to Duloc, It's a Small World thing. That is a brilliant gag. I love that. The Robin Hood song, like it is permanently stuck in my head. So I absolutely love it. And the soundtrack is really good too. Like it's a fun soundtrack, and the score of, I guess it's technically Fiona's theme, like that's a beautiful little piece of music. So it is brilliant, unique, funny. I think I slowly will give it above Shrek 2, just because Shrek 2, because it was so successful, it created this franchise that I think has gone a little bit too long, but we're going to talk about that later. So
yes, definitely. So Shrek goes through to the next round, and we'll start the next one here with Ted. And speaking of franchise that probably went a bit too long, it's Shark Tale against Madagascar. Just remember how
instantly
good.
Feel the dip in quality a little bit here. Like we started out really
high, really high stuff, and then dropped to this. Probably Madagascar.
The first one was really good.
That's what I was gonna say. It ran a bit long, but I think that first one was very successful. And I think the first Madagascar was very good. It was just that they kind of wanted to make more out of it, and they were like, we'll just keep dragging it out and making little films of side characters and stuff that didn't really work. But the first one's quality. So Madagascar.
Perfect. Do you agree there, Jen?
Like Shark Tale, I don't hate it. A lot of people do hate it and think it's really dumb. But I enjoy it. But Madagascar, the original one, it is interesting. It has gone off the rails clearly. But the first one, there is some like emotional pathos there between Marty and Alex, and it's fun and it's very quirky. And I think they just didn't realize how much children were gonna like latch on to the "I like to move it" thing. I don't think they knew that was really gonna like take off and have its own life of its own. But the first film is enjoyable. I haven't gone back to it as often as some of the other films we're gonna talk about, but of these two, Madagascar for me,
Perfect. Jordan, Madagascar is going through, but would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I don't like Shark Tale. I think it's just a bad movie. I just never really cared for it. And I will say that the reason why I kind of do like Madagascar, before the penguins. I actually love the penguins in Madagascar. Like they got their own TV show spin-off, their own movie. They got and they deserved it because they're like by far and away my favorite part of the movie. I think they're pretty hilarious at times. So for that reason, I'll pick Madagascar.
They're excellent in that
Perfect.
film. It goes a bit far when they get their own stuff, but yeah, they are excellent.
True.
In the film.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give a bit of a spoiler. That is one of the movies that I had to exclude from the list.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Thank God.
Penguins
Fair
of
enough.
Madagascar. There's
I
7
know it got
movies
knocked
that I
out
had to
early,
leave.
but I'm glad Ants at least made the cut. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
get enough love. I'm glad it made the cut at the very least.
It was the original DreamWorks film. I couldn't not put that in.
Yeah.
Next up is an interesting one because I'm interested to see which way it'll go. Because I like one and I don't like the other. It's Over the Hedge against Flushed Away. And Jen, we'll start off with yourself.
Oh, I have like this weird love for Over the Hedge. It is like really quirky. There's a really big cast in there, and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun little social commentary about suburban life and everything. Flushed Away, meanwhile, I think I've only seen it once, and it didn't really click for me. I definitely appreciate the animation style. I always like love when that comes up, but this one just didn't quite click. Like it didn't have the heart that Aardman usually would have. So for that reason, I got to give it to Over the Hedge.
Over the Hedge gets 1 vote. Perfect. Jordan, sorry about yourself.
So it's Over the Hedge versus what was the other one?
Flushed Away.
Okay, Flushed Away. This was a bit of a tough one because I mean I actually really was surprised when I saw Flushed Away. I mean it really, yeah, like I thought that it was going to be just a little throwaway movie, and it actually like had some good writing. I mean Hugh Jackman as the lead there, Ian McKellen pops up, Andy Serkis. I mean both of these movies have pretty strong casts, but I just never really cared for Over the Hedge that much. I mean, I think Steve Carell's great as the little squirrel, just kind of going like berserk all the time, you know. So that yeah, so that's fun. But I think I got to go with Flushed Away. So I mean, a movie about someone getting flushed down the toilet actually like was somewhat quality. So
Perfect. If I was voting, I would be going for Over the Hedge. I loved that film. I think it's weird. It was one of those films that just caught me in the right mood or something because I watched it and then the moment it was finished, I think I just clicked play again on it. I just I just loved that film, to be honest. And just some hilarious moments in it with the dog and just that randomly pops up and he's one of the few animals that doesn't speak. It's just small things like that, and I loved it. What about yourself, Ted? The vote goes to you.
Flushed Away is fine. It's okay. The animation is probably the thing I like the most about that film. Whereas I actually enjoyed Over the Hedge, even though it's quite standard animation. So yeah, Over the Hedge, handily enough.
Perfect. Over the Hedge. I'm happy about that one. Jordan, we have another one for you here, and I think I know which way this one's going to go, but it's Shrek the Third up against the B movie.
Well, part of me actually wants to go for a B movie, maybe because of Jerry Seinfeld. You know, like what other movies has he done? Like nothing. So I mean, so besides his stand-up. So I mean, and yeah, like I really like B movie, and really like this is the third Shrek movie. This is the part where Shrek started to feel kind of like just long in the tooth, and this started to just decline in quality. So I think that honestly I have to go with B movie. So yeah, gets my vote.
That's one for B movie. Ted, do you agree?
Yeah, Shrek kind of after Shrek 2, it didn't really get any better. Like that was kind of it peaked out at Shrek 1, then got slightly worse at Shrek 2, but still very good. And then it just kind of really started going downhill from there.
There was definitely a big decline from 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though there's still some very good moments in 3.
Yeah,
was
the kind of
there
film
was,
it is, I think you're always going to get
yeah.
good moments, aren't you? Like, you're not going to get a terrible, terrible film from something like Shrek. There's going to be good moments. B movie it's a bit weird. Like, the whole premise of
It's
it is a
very
bit
weird.
weird. Like,
It
but I
is.
do like the fact that they, that they said B movie in it loads, which always a plus for me. So yeah, I'll go B movie just because it's against Shrek 3. Like, if it was against Shrek 1 or 2, it probably wouldn't make it, but Shrek 3, yeah.
Perfect. That's 2 votes for B movie, so it is going true. But Jen, which way would you have gone?
This is so funny that the B movie is going to be the thing that we first are unanimous on. Yeah, I would vote for B movie. Yeah, Shrek the Third. The thing I like the most about Shrek the Third is just like the behind the scenes dig at Disney, because like they turned Rapunzel into a bad guy because they knew Disney was working on Tangled at the time. So that's my favorite thing about Shrek the Third. But yeah, that one, it's unfortunately the story itself just feels a little cliched because they're like, they don't quite know what to do with the characters anymore at this point, and they're just going to continue doing that forward. But yeah, meanwhile, the B movie is profoundly weird. Like, that movie, no one, I guarantee you going into that, no one knew where that script was going to go, because that is just complete nonsense. And like, to end up in this lawsuit against humanity, like, it was just so odd. But I champion risk takers, so in that case, yeah, go ahead, B movie. It will continue to live on in the cultural zeitgeist of this is just oddity of insanity, honestly. So yeah, B movie gets to go through, and that's so weird.
And it's one of the most memeable movies you could probably come across.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, I don't know what theme park has DreamWorks characters, but if you look up a picture
Universal.
of what the Bee movie looks like in a costume, it looks really terrifying. Like, the actual bee, like, it's creepy. So if I were a kid, I'd be running the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, but I mean, the film's creepy, so the costume,
Yeah, it goes with
Yeah,
the whole
right.
film's creepy. Like, she
Yeah.
falls in love with a bee. Like, it's just
Yeah.
That poor boyfriend got thrown over for a bee. Like, it was, he did nothing wrong. It's a bee. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the start of another franchise. So Ted, you get Kung Fu Panda up against Madagascar 2, Escape from Africa.
Kung Fu Panda, I think. It's going to take it there. Madagascar had a very quick decline from its first one. Kung Fu Panda was actually quite good. A lot better than I was expecting it to be honest.
Stellar cast.
Yeah.
Cast.
Yep.
I just didn't think the story would work. I thought the story would be kind of like bad, but it was pretty entertaining. Like,
And it's let's be honest, it's hard to vote against Jack Black. It is.
yeah,
And he
I voted him out on Shark Tale, but yeah,
he personifies Poe. Let's be honest. That is Jack Black.
that's what I'd imagine if they made it as a like a normal film, and they're like, we want this kind of like clumsy, kind of jokey guy as a karate or as a kung fu thing. Yeah, just stick Jack Black in. That would have worked anyway. So
Exactly.
Yep.
Jen, are you going the same way?
Yeah, definitely. For Madagascar 2, I've probably seen it multiple times, and I could not tell you what the basic plot is, unfortunately.
Same.
Like, they just kind of hanging out. I remember, what's his name? Baldwin is like rival lion, and that's kind of it. That's all I remember. So not a lot going on there. Meanwhile, Kung Fu Panda is a gem, in my opinion. Like, there is so much heart in there, and I think it does have a lot to do with Jack Black, because he is an animated guy himself. Like, so it really exudes through his voice, and the animation is beautiful. I love that, like, they have Jackie Chan as one of the characters, but then he clearly had a lot of influence on like the choreography of the fight sequence and everything. So it's very creative. The cast, voice cast is beautiful, and yeah, there's a lot of just lovely moments in there. And this is one of the franchises that DreamWorks, I think, really hit on each installment. Granted, I think the first one is the best, but yeah, it is heartfelt. It's a lovely story. It's a lovely message for the kids, and it's lovely to look at. So absolutely Kung Fu Panda.
Perfect. And Jordan, do you go the same way?
Well, the only thing that I really remember about Madagascar 2 is that the crash land in Africa, and then they all meet their mates, like pretty much. But I don't really remember anything else about the movie. So I mean, I gotta go with Kung Fu Panda. I mean, well, kind of like you said, like how can you vote against Jack Black? I mean, like so many moments just like cracked me up, like the whole like skadoosh with his belly and all that, like and just like I don't know, like him eating dumplings so fast, like all that stuff, and then you throw in Dustin Hoffman, Angelina Jolie, Jackie Chan, like all those, like Lucy Liu, like yeah, the cast it is an amazing cast, and yeah, I gotta go with Kung Fu Panda.
Perfect. Kung Fu Panda goes through. The second film, part of B movie, for a unanimous vote. And
That feels better.
Yeah, it's a lot better if one to get a unanimous vote.
Yeah,
to be
right. I
honest.
love it in B movie.
And we'll start this one off with yourself here, Jen. The surprisingly good Monsters vs. Aliens up against, although I think it's one of the favorites for this, How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh yeah, this isn't a fair fight at all. No, I will say Monsters vs. Aliens is fun. It is a very fun film. I like that they do the throwback to like the 50s creature features and everything. And I will say, for the record, I quote this movie all the time without meaning to, because there is a moment where they're fighting the big robot on the San Francisco bridge, and it's Seth Rogen as the Blob is just kind of standing there watching as Reese Witherspoon's character is fighting, and he goes, "You're doing great," and she goes, "I'm doing everything," and I do that all the time. I'm doing everything. But yeah. Meanwhile, yeah. What were we talking about? How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon. Like this movie, it is beautiful, and this is the other trilogy of films that just perfect across the board. But yeah, this first one to come out, and just the animation of Toothless alone, like that is just a brilliant use of character without saying a damn thing and having all the emotions come through. So yeah, and the score is brilliant. It is gorgeous. I love listening to this score. That is a great, just driving adventure sound. But yeah, and it's very quirky and it's cute and it's fun. And this is another one of those. It was a book, but went above and beyond in terms of turning it into this whole world on the screen. So yeah, it is great. Absolutely, How to Train Your Dragon.
Perfect. If I was voting, that's where I'd be going as well. How to Train Your Dragon. I will say, of all the franchises that DreamWorks have, I'd say all together, How to Train Your Dragon probably has the most consistent and best franchise. If we're going through it that way, we'll see if we think that How to Train Your Dragon ends up having the best movie. But it's definitely, I think, all together is the strongest franchise, because there's no decline throughout the whole tree. Unlike there is with some of the others. Monsters vs. Aliens is fun though. It is a fun movie, but it's just unlucky to be up against How to Train Your Dragon, I think. Do you agree, Jordan?
Yeah. Like I think that if we're going up against maybe almost any other franchise besides this and Shrek, maybe I would pick Monsters vs. Aliens, because I have a lot of love for that movie, and I think DreamWorks gets like a top cast for every single movie they do. Like they just have
seem to it anyway.
Voice actor. Yeah, like so. I mean, I always want to point out all the cast every time, but it's like it's just going to be
it's true. Like
the A-list, like all the way across the board. Yeah. So, but I mean, How to Train Your Dragon, it would just like, I mean, for an animated movie, it's almost near perfect. Like it just like has a great story, and the animation is just incredible. Some of them like the most amazing animation I've ever seen, and yeah, like I got to go with How to Train Your Dragon, and with other franchises, you kind of see a little bit of a decline, and like it kind of slowly goes down. But I think How to Train Your Dragon's like slowly going up, maybe. So yeah, like I got to go with How to Train Your Dragon, and also I want to point out too that Toothless, that's like the best character for animal lovers. So like everybody's like oh yeah, just like my cat, or just like my
Toothless is absolutely a cat.
dog. Like people pointed out about like it doesn't matter what kind of pet that you have. It's that Toothless is just like whatever pet. So yeah.
It's the ultimate man and dog story. It really is.
It is, yeah.
I love that movie. Ted, what about you?
I'm just going to give it a vote because it's not going to get one. Monsters vs. Aliens. I really enjoyed that. I think it's it's kind of one that they went a little off left field with, but did really well with in the end. Like, I don't think anyone was expecting it to be as good as it was. It doesn't deserve to be, How to Train Your Dragon, but I'm going to give it a vote. Just so it has one, just get something,
I just have to say it because it's my favorite moment of Monsters vs. Aliens, and since it's going out, I just have to say it now. Is when they're talking about when they're in their big cage and said, yes, the Invisible Man died. What? That's 65 years ago.
Yeah.
They just point over to the corner and there's nothing there. I probably missed the next 2 or 3 jokes first time I saw that because I was in stitches laughing at it. Well, we have the first half of the bracket done, and we're going in to the next one. We'll start off with yourself there now, Jordan, and it's the final installment of Shrek Forever After, coming up against Megamind.
Ooh, okay. So now I'm trying to get all the stories straight for all the different Shrek movies. So is Shrek Forever After the one where
Rumpelstiltskin is this one.
Okay, so it's not the one where she goes to stay with Fiona's parents. I think that's the third.
That's
3, yeah.
What's
3?
2 and 3?
2 and 3,
okay.
yeah.
2 and 3,
yeah. 2 and. Okay, so Rumpelstiltskin, which has always been one of my favorite characters from like fairy tales and stuff. I love the character Rumpelstiltskin, but I got to go with Megamind. Like Will Ferrell in the movie, it's just so much fun to watch, and it's one of those surprising movies again that we went to go see it. I kind of thought maybe it'd be a throwaway movie that wouldn't be that good, and I was honestly pretty surprised. And so it's actually I have a nephew. I don't have any kids, but I have a nephew who's about 5 years old, and that's like absolutely his favorite animated movie. So we always throw that on all the time, and so I got some good nostalgic memories. So I got to go with Megamind.
Perfect. That's one for Megamind. What about yourself, there, Ted?
Yeah, Megamind. Shrek, as we said, it declined massively after Shrek 2, and I don't think it got any better after Shrek 3. Like, it's maybe about level, but not much better. So, Megamind for me, handily enough on that one.
Perfect. That's Megamind is going through. Jen, would you have agreed?
Yeah, this is a unanimous one again. Shrek Forever After it. This is like one of those things where you're in a franchise, you don't know what to do. Time travel. Like, I just don't really care for I like the story of Rumpelstiltskin, but for whatever reason, I don't like this character. It might be the voice work. I don't even remember who does the voice work. It might be the director, honestly, because I don't really recognize the voice. But I just didn't really like the character, and it was just kind of retreading the things that we've already gone through before, and it's just getting worse each time. I did like that, like, you're getting a little bit more of Fiona in this one, because this is the one where, like, it's alternate timeline kind of stuff. So she's, like, leading this ogre rebellion thing, which is pretty cool, because it is a throwback to the first one where, like, she was trying to hide that side of her. And in this one, she's actually hiding the human side of her, which is interesting. So that's cool, but anything else in the film, very forgettable. Meanwhile, what was the other one? I can't even remember.
Megamind.
See, it was such like clearly it's not going to be Shrek Forever. Megamind, I do like Megamind. It's really funny. This was another one where it went where I didn't expect it to go. So I did like this one. It's very quirky, and again, they keep getting these A-list casts. Like, there's some great voice work in here. Brad Pitt, in particular, killed it, honestly. But yeah, it's really fun. It's a funny script, and just not Shrek Forever After, honestly. Anything that went up against it probably was going to win, but I do like Megamind.
Yeah, the one thing I will say about Megamind, and I may get a lot of hate from anybody watching, I am really, really not a Will Ferrell fan. I'm not a fan of his films whatsoever. I try to basically avoid anything that he's in. I don't find him funny. But Megamind, I thought he was hilarious. It's probably my favorite Will Ferrell role, bar Stranger Than Fiction, which I think is his best film.
I love it.
I
What about
really
Elf?
do.
I mean, come on, you gotta have love for Elf at least.
I despise Elf.
I am getting off this
man.
call. I'm getting off.
Come on, everyone leave.
I just, as I said, I don't find Will Ferrell funny. It's my preference. It's just Will Ferrell isn't for me. But I thought it was really good in Megamind. So Megamind is going through to the next round. And we'll start the next one off with Ted. We have Kung Fu Panda 2 against Puss in Boots.
Kung Fu Panda 2. Puss in Boots could do one. I liked Antonio Banderas in the Shrek 2, but I didn't think Puss in Boots was that big a character that he needed a spin-off. I know it's because it was Antonio Banderas, and they were like, we want to capitalize on how popular that was.
It was money. They just
money.
wanted money.
Yeah, it was money grabbing, and no, it's not even good.
Kung Fu Panda 2 is good.
Yeah, exactly. Kung Fu Panda 2
one is good and one is not. Oh, I wonder which one.
Yeah.
Exactly. Are you the same there, Jen?
I love Kung Fu Panda 2. I do prefer one, but I will say Gary Oldman's Peacock character, that is a fantastic villain, period. Not just for animated films. He nails that character, and I love the sequence where they're doing the flashback and it switches to the flat animation. That's gorgeous. But yeah, meanwhile, I keep forgetting what the other film is because I keep what was it? Puss in Boots, yeah. But see, I just don't even want to talk about the other Shrek movies. Puss in Boots it's absolutely, they were chasing another paycheck. And Antonio is not the problem with this movie. It's just there wasn't really enough to dig
There's
in.
No story.
There's no story really, and it's kind of another one that's really weird. The Zach Galifianakis Humpty Dumpty character.
Dumpty's the villain, isn't he? Yeah.
He creeps me out. Okay, that movie. He creeps me out in that film. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's just. I think I've watched it once, and I'm never gonna go back to it. Meanwhile, Kung Fu Panda, I'll put that in any day. So yeah.
100%. Jordan, what about yourself? Which way would you have gone?
So yeah, I got to go with Kung Fu Panda 2. I've actually never even seen Puss in Boots. I just avoided it just because, I never even really connected.
You're the winner in this scenario, though.
Right, yeah. Yeah, right, because, well, with Puss in Boots, I never even really connected with the character really even that much, except for when he does the puppy dog kind of cute eyes. I really like that meme. I try to use it on my wife a lot when I really want something. but besides that, though, I think Kung Fu Panda 2, I don't like it quite as much as number one, but I still would pick it way over Puss in Boots. And the Gary Oldman, I think it's Lord Shen, is it?
Yeah.
What they call him? Like he's great. So the great villain, and yeah, I'll go Kung Fu Panda 2. Perfect.
We've kind of moved into the couple years where DreamWorks just didn't do great. Starting off with Puss in Boots. Our next two is Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted, and Rise of the Guardians.
Oh, Rise of the Guardians. I like Rise of the Guardians. I don't know why they're saying for that. I actually like it.
I liked it, don't get me wrong, but when you're comparing it to what we've discussed already, I don't know if it's as good as them. What do you think, Jen?
I will say of Madagascar, it came back up a little bit in 3. There actually are some heartfelt moments in there that I didn't really expect, honestly. But yeah, it's not great. But what was the other film we were talking about? Rise of the Guardians. Yeah, Rise of the Guardians. I like Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah, it's cool. Really good.
It's pretty cool. It was a really interesting idea to go forward with. It does feel a little bit like they were chasing after the older, preteen kind of crowd with this, which is fine. It does feel like it was we're trying to sell some Hot Topic merchandise, but it is cool. It is fun, and there are some deep, a little bit creepy moments in this film, and yeah, I think it's definitely an oddball in the DreamWorks franchise, but yeah, definitely better than Madagascar 3. So yeah.
Perfect. Do you go the same way there, Jordan?
Oh yeah, I would go with Rise of the Guardians. Chris Pine was great as the main character there, and Jack Frost, I think, and yeah, it's actually like maybe some of the best animation versus besides How to Train Your Dragon series. I mean, like it's got some really cool, unique things. I mean, for some really little kids, it can be borderline creepy, maybe because it's a little more realistic than some of the other DreamWorks movies. But what was the other movie? Was it Madagascar?
Madagascar 3.
Madagascar 3.
Yeah. So Madagascar 3, like just didn't really resonate with me. Like it's just them having hijinks all over Europe and stuff, and which seems like it may be a cool premise, but it's just too much, just I don't know, like cheap humor. So it's just it didn't really resonate. So I'll go with Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah, I'm looking at this here. Of all the movies that we've gone through so far, Madagascar 3 is the first one that I haven't actually seen.
It's not bad, but it's not good. It's definitely better than 2.
But it's not good either.
It helps that it has Frances McDormand as like almost like a Javert-esque like inspector that ends up singing like really classical French music at the end in a really weird action sequence. So there is some odd stuff in there. So I
might just have to look that up itself. Yeah. What about yourself, Ted? Which way are you going?
Oh, Rise of the Guardians. I know people don't like this is kind of in their dip of like quality films, but I actually think this is one of their better ones. I don't know why people don't rate this higher than it is, to be honest. I think it's really good. It's a little bit older than some of the other ones, but I think it's really good.
Perfect. Yeah, no, like I did really enjoy it. And thinking back on it now, like it is probably their high point in their weaker years. And when I say high point, like it does go quite high. But it definitely deserves to be Madagascar.
I think if it came out like right now, it'd be really popular.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point. Probably released at the wrong time.
Probably so.
Now we have another 2 that just, you'll understand why I said it's in their big decline. We have The Croods against Turbo.
Oh God!
And Jordan, you have the honor.
Probably gotta go with The Croods, just because I'm a pretty big Nicolas Cage fan. I even like some of his like really bad movies. Like I'll always watch Nicolas Cage. I love him when he's super crazy. The crazier, the better. Like that's when I think Nicolas Cage is at his best. But I mean wasn't it Emma Stone? Was she in
Emma Stone's the main one, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the Croods was actually quite a lot of fun. And so, what was the other one? Sorry,
Turbo.
Oh yeah, Turbo. So yeah, that movie was a movie that was like so bad that like I don't think I even finished it when I watched it. I think I turned it off halfway. And isn't there some like random cameos by like rappers like Snoop Dogg or something like that's in there? Is like
probably.
Yeah.
I remember, like really I know Samuel Jackson's in there, but I could not tell you who else is.
Yeah, there's some weird kind of voice casting that really doesn't fit. Like it just seemed like really off to me, and I was just like okay. So yeah, yeah.
Yep, that's all you need to say. Chris.
Yeah. Yes, you know what? Ted, what gets my vote? So.
What about yourself, Ted?
Turbo is basically Cars, right? But not as good as Cars. Like even anywhere near as good as Cars. Like the worst Cars film is
yeah.
Like the worst Cars film is still better than Turbo, which is basically what it is. So the Croods kind of takes that one, but it's not going to get too far, I don't think, in this tournament anyway. Although, if it comes up against somebody they're crap, it might get past another round.
What about yourself, Jen?
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a free pass for the next round, whoever goes up against whatever wins here. But yeah, it would be the Croods by default for me, because I have not seen Turbo, because honestly, it didn't look good at all. And I just was like, I'm good. Because like, I barely like the Cars franchise, so I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to see this. I actually didn't remember that it was DreamWorks until we like sat down to do this. Because it just quality seems off from the very like the get-go.
It really does.
But like like the Croods it's okay. Like I've seen it maybe once and I was not too invested. Every once in a while there'd be something like, oh that's okay, that's nice. But like it doesn't really hit home. I was actually surprised that it got a sequel. I didn't realize it actually made money.
It got a sequel.
like,
It came out
they got a
last year.
sequel, yeah,
Oh,
within the
God.
past year. But it does feel like a series of like sight gags. Honestly, it's almost like Flintstones-esque humor and stuff with like the
Oh, yeah.
whole sloth as a belt thing. So there are some moments that are quiet that like I remember them being like not even any dialogue in them, where I'm like, that was a lovely little sequence, but it has nothing to do with the story. So yeah, it's just this kind of a free pass because nobody's gonna vote for Turbo. So buy Crudes in the next round.
Yeah.
You're not the
And
only one
also,
who didn't
too-
see Turbo. Turbo is definitely one of the lowest box office returns for a DreamWorks
Yeah.
film. Yeah.
I mean, kids
Yeah.
don't like snails, like.
Yeah, exactly. It was a
Well,
very
unless you like
strange
SpongeBob.
idea.
You got a snail
A
there.
very strange idea.
A Gary movie would definitely make more money than the Turbo.
Right.
So yeah.
And also the Croods 2, I think was number 1 at the box office. We had a really weird year for movies. Number 1 for like 15 weeks in a row in 2020. That just blows my mind.
That's just parents can't handle it sometimes. That's all
Exactly.
it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's when like parents are taking their kids to the movies, but nobody else is going to the movies.
Very true. Next up, it's a strange one. It's Mr. Peabody and Sherman up against How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Real quick round here, I think.
Really quick round here.
Obviously,
Ted, you
Peabody's
can start
gone
it
through, isn't it? Yeah. How to Train Your Dragon 2. There's no discussion.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't think we really need to discuss it very much. Jen, are you in agreement?
Yeah, I haven't seen Mr. Peabody and Sherman all the way through. Having said that, I'm just impressed that they actually like took the time and tried to make this into a film, because like I actually was a fan of like Rocky and Bullwinkle, but of the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, to pick this one little segment and make it into something, because like I don't like, if you're not familiar with it, the original, like, it's very monotone, moves really fast. It's basically like one joke. That's what the sequence would be. So to like expand that into an entire film was a very odd choice, and I haven't finished it. But like I actually like I'm a fan of Ty Burrell. Like I'm very basic. I watch Modern Family. It makes me laugh. I don't know, but like he did have to actually like inflect some stuff into it. So it really is just like him talking, because he has a really animated voice already. But the story is a little weird because it has to be. But yeah, like How to Train Your Dragon 2, we're going to talk about it plenty more. So definitely. I think anything that was going to go up against it was probably going to get knocked out. But I'm glad it was something that didn't really deserve to be here in the first place. So
perfect. Jordan, do you agree?
Yeah, but I will say though that I was a huge Hanna-Barbera fan growing up. Like I watched all those cartoons, and Peabody and Sherman were characters I actually enjoyed it as a kid. And so when they announced this movie, I was actually pretty excited for it. And then when to see it, and man, was I disappointed. It was just not good. I mean, I thought the whole time travel aspect was going to be pretty cool, and it kind of was, but not really. Huh? So yeah, and also too, anything from the How to Train Your Dragon series, it's just going to be a juggernaut. Like I'm excited to see that go up against Shrek. So we'll kind of see in the later rounds. But yeah, How to Train Your Dragon 2, I got to go with that.
Perfect. Yeah, I thought that was a nice, simple one to go through, to be honest. This one will probably be as well. And we'll start off with yourself, Jen. It's Home up against Kung Fu Panda 3.
Oh, this is easy. I have not seen Home, but I love Kung Fu Panda 3.
You haven't missed
so
much.
Yeah, that's really like that's all I'm gonna say. Home, I am not a big Jim Parsons person, so I was like, it's just gonna be his voice the entire time, so I skipped it. So having said that, I have been standing in front of a red box and seen like a 5-year-old going, please, 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 can we watch that one? So some kids like it, so good for them. But yeah, Kung Fu Panda 3 easily.
Yeah, when I brought my little sister to go and see this film in the cinema, and she loved it. Like, it's definitely for kids. You know, Rihanna voicing the little girl in it as well. One of her first acting roles, but Jim Parsons was just so annoying in it. He really was. I don't mind Jim Parsons as an actor really, but you know, like when he was in Big Bang Theory and he puts on the really annoying voice, it's that really it's that really
You don't
annoying
like him
voice for
waving
the
his hand
entire
in the
film.
air like he just does not care or whatever he does.
Yeah. So it's that annoying voice for the entire film, and it kind of grated on me after a while. I'm not gonna lie. What about yourself, Jordan? Which way are you voting here?
I gotta go with Kung Fu Panda 3. Yeah, I mean, actually, Kung Fu Panda 3 might even be my favorite in the series, possibly. I mean, it's a tie between that and number 1 for me. But I will say though that I was a pretty big fan of the music from Home, though. It actually has like a really cool soundtrack from like Jennifer
That's
Lopez
true.
and Rihanna. So like they have that song "Dancing in the Dark." Actually, that song actually grew on me because when Home came out, I was working in a movie theater, so I would have to go in and clean
You'd
up
have to
at the
hear
end
it
of
every day.
the
Yeah.
movie, so I got to hear it. Yeah, so I would walk in there, and like usually hearing the same thing over and over would get annoying, but this one like started out kind of annoying and then kind of grew on me. I was like, you know what, like the song isn't too bad. It's kind of catchy. So, but I still got to go with Kung Fu Panda 3. So yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Perfect. I have a story about that. I used to work in a cinema here as well, and I was unfortunate to work in a cinema during the time Juno came out, and like I love that film. I really enjoyed Juno, but for one weekend we had the Juno soundtrack playing not just in the cinema, but was in the lobby. That soundtrack only has 10 songs,
Hmm.
and
That's a quick loop. Yeah.
three of those songs are the same song, just with three different covers of the same song. So, and it's the whole album is 50 minutes. So if you're working an 8 hour shift, you're listening to that same song 3 times within every 50 minutes. We as a staff complained, and it was taken off after the weekend. Let's just say that it was a long
Workers'
weekend.
break.
Yeah.
It was a very long weekend. Which way are you going to go
Actually,
here,
more than
Ted? Though.
Kung Fu Panda 3 easily. Like Home did do well enough for itself. Like I was
It did.
surprised how well it did. Seems to be very well liked by kids and stuff, but I don't know. I think Kung Fu Panda 3 is actually quite good, whereas Home is quite shit.
And what I find quite interesting here is only one Shrek movie has gone through, but all three Kung Fu Panda movies have gone through so far, which
Yeah,
I
but
find
Shrek had
quite
to
interesting.
knock out Shrek 2, to be fair.
Yep.
Well, that's true. That is true. Next up, and we'll start off with Jordan. We have Trolls up against the Boss Baby.
Well, I would say that if we were talking about Trolls 2, I would pick Trolls 2 because I actually was really surprised by the second one. I actually really liked all the different kind of gangs or cliques or whatever they had that like did different music and stuff, and I like the way that they did it a lot better. I mean, the first Trolls had that one hit song from Justin Timberlake that played over and over all the time, which was
That's still in my head.
Mhm.
yeah, it was a great song until it wasn't when they overplayed it. So and but so you say Trolls versus what was the other one? Sorry.
Boss Baby.
The Boss Baby.
And Boss Baby, I'm not really a huge fan of either. I don't, like. I'll just say I'm probably the same way that you are, Carl, about Will Ferrell. I don't like Alec Baldwin. I can't stand him. I think he's annoying. Like he had the whole drunken rant against his daughter that came out, and just like I don't like him. Like seeing him pop on Saturday Night Live, like all that stuff. I just don't really care for him really at all. And so, but even so, like I think that Boss Baby still was a slightly better movie than the first Trolls movie. I just didn't really care for it. Trolled, it just really annoyed me. It kind of reminded me of Smurfs. So I was like no, thank you. So so yeah, I got to go with the Boss Baby.
It's one vote for Boss Baby. Will
But
the
not by a
streak be?
lot.
Will the streak of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Will the streak of 9 matches be broken? Will someone else vote for a different film, or will it be unanimous again?
Yeah.
Ted, what about yourself?
Oh, I don't know. Like these are both aren't great. Like to be honest, they're both pretty poor. Like, Trolls annoys me because they put an S at the end rather than a Z, which I just feel they should have done. No real reason. I just feel that, if you're gonna call a film Trolls,
Be
put a Z at the
edgier.
end. Yeah, just put a Z at the end. Why not? Like, just fire it in there. Boss Baby, I don't even like the concept of it. Like, it just sounds terrible. Even I'll give it to Trolls just because I don't care which one goes through. To be honest, like, they're both terrible.
The streak has been broken. So Jen, you get the deciding vote.
So I'm gonna throw it to Boss Baby. I have actually not seen Trolls, and that is because this is one of those films that was like, this is just marketing, a meeting of what's popular right now, 80s throwbacks. Let's just take something that was popular in the 80s and do something with it now. And yeah, it just that. I don't know what it is with Anna Kendrick, because she, like, after Pitch Perfect, she got stuck into like doing these musical roles and having to sing and stuff, and she's like set on record that she doesn't like doing it, and yet she keeps signing up for it. So I can't fight her for getting a paycheck, but at the same time, I don't know. But yeah, the only thing I know,
see her do other stuff as well.
Yeah, like, she's complained about it, but she keeps signing up for these roles, so whatever. But yeah, I do like the Justin Timberlake song. That's the only thing that really came out of it for me. And they have a sequel that I haven't seen, but it does look more interesting. So I do want to see the sequel. So I will have to watch this eventually, but I'm not looking forward to it. Meanwhile, Boss Baby, actually, Boss Baby, the sequel looks cool. Boss Baby, I would have loved to been in the pitch meeting for this, because it is so weird. Like, you start with just like, oh, it's a baby and he's like a 50-year-old man, but then like it goes on this tangent into like the business of love and affection and dogs versus babies, and it's just this whole thing, and I don't know, it's very odd, but at least if they tried something. So yeah, Boss Baby. But like, there's like a show now, right? Isn't there?
There's a TV show now.
Which I have no idea what goes on that, but yeah, so that's interesting.
I don't know how, but they both got their own series.
There's a good point in the chat there saying Trolls is great and Can't Stop the Feeling is a banger, but Boss Baby took a nomination away from Lego Batman.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is a disgrace.
It's not their fault. That's the Academy's fault. But
yeah, well, it's an absolute disgrace.
So does that sway your vote at all there, Jen, for the deciding vote?
No, I'm still going to give it to Boss Baby. I will still give the vote to Boss Baby, and I will do a strike against the Academy, because I'm still mad about that.
Yeah.
So. I think we're all still mad about that.
That's a good call.
And now it's the final two of the round. And sorry, Jordan, I know you're wearing the T-shirt, but I had to take 7 movies out, and
right.
I hadn't seen that, so I couldn't give it a vote.
It is
I
good.
Put it in.
Abominable is good.
It is good. I just have to wear it because it's the last shirt they gave me before all the theaters shut down, because I was working right up until they shut down, and then so yeah, but I'm not like a diehard fan or anything. It's just what they gave me.
It's a sweet little film, particularly if you've ever played an instrument. So that's nice.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. But we'll start this one off with, and Ted, you can start the vote with How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World up against Trolls World Tour. Sorry, Jordan.
World versus world.
I think it's a pretty simple one, isn't it? How to Train Your Dragon's just gonna go past here, no bothers.
Perfect. Yeah, that's one for How to Train Your Dragon 3. Jen, yourself?
Yeah, I haven't seen World Tour, so it'd be default, but yeah, absolutely Dragon anyway.
Perfect. And Jordan, do you agree? Even though you really like World Tour.
Yeah, so I did like World Tour, but up against How to Train Your Dragon 3, no way, because How to Train Your Dragon 3 is my favorite of the whole series. Like the animation just blew me away. Like it's probably some of the best animation I've ever seen in a movie, like ever. Like, it's just incredible, and I love seeing the whole world of the dragons. Just seeing all that. It's just like, it was really cool. So yeah, How to Train Your Dragon 3.
And let's just say Jay Baruchel's voice acting throughout this entire series is stellar. It's really top notch throughout the entire series.
He's like born for that role.
He was perfect casting for Hiccup.
Yeah.
So we start off now into the next round, and it doesn't get easy from this point. And Jen, you can start it off with the Prince of Egypt against the Road to Eldorado.
Oh, damn it.
I wasn't here for that.
It's always my favorite things. They're always up against each other. Oh, man. Yeah, I think I have to give it to Prince of Egypt just because that film, like, to be like that early in a film company and to come out of the gate with both a story and an animation style that just hits on every level, like that is just a masterpiece in my mind, and the music itself too. Road to Eldorado, meanwhile, is a fun little quirky adventure film that I would love to have either gotten a sequel or even a series or something out of it, but it is very contained to just having a fun time. Whereas
Even
Prince
a
of
live
Egypt
action
is,
adaptation.
yeah, like I would absolutely just watch Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh like walking through the jungle like on their own. So yeah, I would love to see that. But yeah, like I have a lot of love for Road to Eldorado, but in terms of the impact that the film has made, I gotta go Prince of Egypt.
That's one for Prince of Egypt. Jordan, do you agree?
Yeah, so I got to go with the Prince of Egypt. I've actually never even seen The Road to Eldorado, so it's probably one that I do need to see sometime.
It's so good.
But the Prince of Egypt, man, it's like whatever happened to DreamWorks doing original music, because man, I'm like, this is like probably in my top 5, even maybe top 3 of favorite music from an animated movie of all time. Like they have like Through Heaven's Eyes, they have Hush Now My Baby, they have Deliver Us, they have all these amazing songs that like I listen to the soundtrack all the time, and like just thinking about it even gives me chills just thinking about some of the music from Mariah Carey too, and that like it's just great, and the story is great. I grew up with a little bit of a religious background myself, so all the stories really resonate with me, and so yeah, like the Prince of Egypt is like it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So like yeah, like I got to give it to that hands down. So yeah,
perfect. Okay, do you agree there, Ted?
No, I would have gone Road to Eldorado, to be honest. I think that's one of the ones that stood the test of time really, really well. Like, still just as popular as ever. Prince of Egypt, I don't see as many people talking about it anymore as I do Road to Eldorado. So I would have gone that way, but yeah.
Well, they should talk.
I want to hang in your circles. Where are all these people talking about Road to Eldorado?
Sure, it's Ireland. We all talk about Road to Eldorado.
I'm moving to Ireland. All right.
Jordan, we'll start off the next one with yourself. It's going to be Shrek up against Madagascar.
Well, this one's pretty easy, I think. So for me, I got to go Shrek. I mean, just like it was the first movie that like I think DreamWorks kind of like. Well, for me, the first where I really recognized them having like a big cast of like really famous actors. I mean, I think they did do it a little bit with the Prince of Egypt and even Ants, I think, but like they really advertised all the big cast: Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, John Lithgow, all these people, and so the stories.
Murphy.
Just great.
It was Eddie Murphy's comeback, honestly. We would not be seeing him without this movie.
Exactly. So yeah, that movie is just so good. So yeah, I gotta go with Shrek.
Perfect. That's one for Shrek. Do you agree there, Ted?
Yeah, Shrek's one of the biggest hitters in this. Shrek 2 would have been if it hadn't come up against Shrek itself. So yeah, Shrek's gonna go slide by pretty easily. It's his swamp, and no one's getting in or out of it.
Shrek through to the next round. What about yourself, Jen? Does Madagascar get any love, or is Shrek going right through?
No, I like this matchup because these were the two franchises that we've gone over of like they massively declined as they went on. However, I think whereas for Madagascar, as it declined, I feel like it hurt the original one. Shrek on its own, like Shrek 1 and 2, they are perfect in their own right. So like they have managed to survive, even though there's been it's technically 5 movies and like a holiday special and maybe some other things that I'm trying to block out of my mind. It's still fun to watch those. Yeah, it's like So Shrek, much better. Quotable, great, still perfect today. So yeah.
I'm surprised that Shrek hasn't got its own TV series. I mean, every other DreamWorks That series has
No.
one.
It's because they're stuck on the baby thing. Like, they don't want to not include the later stuff, but like, if you guys just went back and did a Shrek show about Shrek, I think it would be great. So
Right. I think so
Exactly.
too.
Saying that, like, I genuinely wouldn't be opposed for them to do a fifth Shrek movie, but have like the original writers for Shrek,
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
and like have.
I've always thought
I
that.
would. I would love to see like a revamped Shrek kind of thing. I think it would be
most
great.
likely you would get a donkey origin story. Like, that's what would happen
Oh,
now,
yeah.
because that's what they would do.
Yeah.
they
So
had his
consider
origin
ourselves
story.
lucky.
They gave his origin story in the first one. He was owned by this woman who wanted to sell him. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all we need to know.
Yep, that's all we need to know. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of origin stories unless it's the series starts out with the origin story, but I don't like going back to.
Perfect. Let's start off with the next one there. Who started that one first? It was Ted. Let's go with Over the Hedge against B movie.
Oh, I have a feeling
Yeah.
I know which way this one's gonna go, but I'm gonna go with B movie just because it's how weird it is. Like, it definitely shouldn't. Like, it doesn't deserve to go very far. But I don't know. It's just one of those films that's so weird and out there that it ended up being quite successful because of that.
Yes, it's true. It did. It's true. What about yourself, Jed?
This is a weird one. I feel like I enjoy watching Over the Hedge more, but I'm more intrigued by B movie just for like the weirdness of it all. But I think I'd give the slight edge to Over the Hedge because it's just I don't know though. It's very close. Like, these two are the closest that I've felt. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to Over the Hedge
Over the
just because I
Hedge,
feel
we
like it
vote.
doesn't get talked about at all. I feel like it's a very forgotten one,
It's
honestly.
true. Yeah,
So,
I agree.
yeah.
I definitely think it deserves to get talked about more than it does because I really enjoyed it and I thought the animation was great in it as well. So the deciding vote goes in for yourself there, Jordan. Is it Over the Hedge or the B movie?
Well, I mean, when it comes to Over the Hedge, like I'm not really even sure what the movie's even about. Like I don't really know. I just know that it's a bunch of just like animals from a neighborhood just kind of running
It's
wild.
culturally important. It's talking about deforestation.
Yeah, right. but B movie actually know what the story is, and like I just love the kind of weirdness about like Jerry Seinfeld, the character meets a human with Renee Zellweger and just is hanging out with a human, I guess, and yeah, so like just for how weird it is, and like just yeah, I mean like. I don't know if any of these are going to go very much further, but I mean,
Yeah. I don't think we need to stress about it that much.
Yeah, right. I'm not too worried about either one, but I'll give it to B movie.
B movie goes
I
true.
appreciate
Right.
it. I'm good.
Right. All right.
And this one might be a little tougher. I'm sorry to do this on yourself, Jen. It just ended up coming around to you as well.
Oh no.
It's Kung Fu Panda up against How to Train Your Dragon.
No. No. What did I do? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give the slight edge to Kung Fu Panda. And it's only because I think looking at the two trilogies of the films, I appreciate Kung Fu Panda 1 the most of that trilogy, and How to Train Your Dragon, I think it has gone up for the following film. So it is very close and it hurts me. But yeah, I'm gonna knock off How to Train Your Dragon, the original one, even though it is a beautiful story. And I hate to do it. So Kung Fu Panda
Wow.
gets my vote.
A vote for Kung Fu Panda. Jordan, what about you?
Yeah. So I love both of these series, but I feel like the one that just doesn't quite resonate with me as much is Kung Fu Panda. I just feel like it like I don't know, there's something a little more maybe juvenile about it. I guess you could say that. I mean, but only slightly though, and so I think that I got to give the edge actually to How to Train Your Dragon. So that's where my vote's going to go, and I felt like I could relate to How to Train Your Dragon so much in so many different ways. So for that, I got to give it to How to Train Your Dragon.
Perfect. That's one vote for How to Train Your Dragon, one vote for Kung Fu Panda. Ted, you get the deciding vote in this actually difficult matchup for two really good films.
Don't blow it. We're gonna blame you.
Yeah, I'm actually
Don't blow it.
I'm surprised. Like I really thought that the other two were just gonna vote How to Train Your Dragon like straight off the bat. Like, because out of the trilogies, it probably is the best trilogy in terms of progressing itself. But yeah, I don't know. Kung Fu Panda as a standalone, I don't think it beats out How to Train Your Dragon. I don't know. I really like Kung Fu Panda, and I think they did go off and make like a TV show about it, and the TV show actually isn't awful, which
It's
isn't
true.
which isn't the general rule. So it just kind of stands to how good Kung Fu Panda as a film and a concept is.
Oh, the How to Train Your Dragon TV show wasn't the worst either.
No,
No, it wasn't.
not too bad.
But, I think How to Train Your Dragon's other films are going to do better in terms of this tournament, and I wouldn't like to see Kung Fu Panda and Jack Black go out this easily. So I'll give it to Kung Fu Panda because I think Kung Fu Panda
Wow.
2 and 3 won't do as well as Kung Fu 1. So
See, your strategy. Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I'm doing too.
I'm
I'll
a little for
go up
Jack
against
Black
Toothless
though.
at some point.
I'm actually shocked about that one, but okay, Kung Fu Panda goes through to the next
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
So we'll start this one off with yourself, Jordan. It's Megamind up against Kung Fu Panda 2.
Oh, jeez.
See, right away.
Yeah, like there's a little sliver of me that maybe wants to give it to Megamind, but I can't do it though. So yeah, I got to go with Kung Fu Panda 2. Yeah, but I will say though, when it comes to the Kung Fu Panda movies, they do kind of blend together pretty well to me. Like it's hard for me to remember exactly what one story is versus the next, but it's probably because it's been so long since I've seen them all. I think I've only seen each one time. So yeah, but I do got to give it to Kung Fu Panda 2. So I'll get my
vote for Kung Fu Panda 2. Ted, what about yourself?
Megamind's a weird one because it doesn't really get a whole lot of love, but it actually is. It's quite enjoyable as its own little film. They didn't really go anywhere with it. Like they just kind of made it and we're like, yeah, that's as much as we're ever gonna do with that. I don't think we can go anywhere after that.
That's because it came out the same time as Despicable Me.
Yeah, and I think again,
Well, there you
this
go.
seems to be what happens to DreamWorks a lot. They bring out films and there's just something very similar to it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they get so unlucky because whichever ones come out that are similar to it tend to just be that more
better.
popular. Not even better because like I don't know if Bug's Life was much better, to be honest, but like just it seemed to be the more popular of the two, sort of thing.
True.
So I don't know. I think Megamind doesn't get a whole lot of love. I'll give it a vote because I don't think it's going to go through, but it deserves it. It deserves some love.
Yeah.
So Jen,
I mean, I could be totally chaotic right now and just go for Megamind, but
Do it.
It's interesting you brought up that it was Despicable Me was its like main rival because looking at the two, I understand why Despicable Me did better for kids and everything, but I would prefer Megamind honestly.
Same here.
So if it's up against Despicable Me, it wins. However, Kung Fu Panda 2. I just talked about how much I like Kung Fu Panda 1, and I actually like that one better than 2. But between these two, I think I do have to give it to Panda just because like this one, the Kung Fu Panda franchise, like it does get a little blur the lines in between, like particularly 2 and 3. But this one, it does delve more into like the emotional core of Po and how to like he's dealing with both being the icon that everyone thinks he is and also going back to his roots and who he was to begin with. And there's a lot of cool stuff with the dad relationship. So I'm going to give it to Panda, but it would have been funny to just make Megamind go through. It would have just got knocked out anyway. So.
Yeah.
So that's Kung Fu Panda 2 going through to the next round. And next up we have Rise of the Guardians up against the Croods. Ted, take it away.
Rise of the Guardians, like the Croods was just brought out in kind of the big dip, and I don't think it was better than some of the other stuff that came out in that dip, but I don't think it has anything on Rise of the Guardians. Like I'm a big fan of Rise of the Guardians, so easy enough one for me, yeah.
Perfect. That's Rise of the Guardians. One vote. Jen, do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Rise of the Guardians, it's a lot more complex. There's a lot more interesting stuff going on. The character work is a lot better. The Croods is just a series of sight gags. And yeah, so unfortunately, like, it's sad that got the sequel and Rise of the Guardians didn't. So yeah.
It's just true. It's true. Jordan, are you going the same way? Nice and easy one.
Oh yeah, so like for me, like my vote goes to anything with the name Guardians in it. You got Rise of the Guardians, Guardians of the Galaxy. You have the Guardians, the Owls of Gahul.
Legends of the Gahul.
Yeah, you got so many different Guardians movies, and I vote for them all because they're all good. So yeah, I gotta go with the Rise of the Guardians. The Croods just doesn't really do them a whole lot for me. So yeah.
Just because you said that, I'm going to have to think of a film that has Guardians in it that just is awful. I'm going to have to try and think of
bad, yeah, right.
The Guardian, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Rise of the Guardians going through to the next round. And next up, we have a rematch. Yes, it's How to Train Your Dragon 2 against Kung Fu Panda 3.
Okay.
And Jen, you get to start it off.
Okay, so this time I get to switch teams. Yeah, because I absolutely love How to Train Your Dragon 2. I think that is the pinnacle of the trilogy, whereas Kung Fu Panda 3, there's some nice stuff in there with the new introduction of Poe's real father, Bryan Cranston, the panda, and then like the dynamic between him and his adopted father and everything. Fun, but that's kind of the only thing that's really noteworthy in the third one. Whereas How to Train Your Dragon 2, it's like, what's his name? Hiccup. Hiccup is really coming into his own. They expand the world. Like they start going into, it's technically not the hidden world, but the dragon area in the ice area. Like that's just a stunning location for animation. And yeah, just the introduction of the mother and like that whole backstory is beautiful. So it adds a whole other level of complexity to the franchise, and I absolutely love it. So How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Perfect. Jordan, what about yourself?
So I think I gotta go the opposite way from last time too. So
Oh wow.
Just to kind of mix it up, because Kung Fu Panda 3 is my favorite of the whole series, and I actually love the relationship between Poe and his dad. Like it's a really cool story, I think, and yeah, like I think that's great. And How to Train Your Dragon 2 is awesome too. Like I think that whoever did the animation for How to Train Your Dragon, I wouldn't be mad if they animated every movie, every single animated movie that, like from here on out, like because they're just amazing at it. But I gotta give the edge to Kung Fu Panda 3. Just the story for me was just a slight bit better, but I mean they're both like neck and neck. So
Perfect. So Ted, you get the deciding vote.
I'll keep the trend going of switching over onto the other film. Like I gave Kung Fu Panda because I felt, I didn't realize where the brackets were going to go, and I was like, I don't know if the other ones will get through, so I'll give it to Kung Fu Panda to make sure at least one gets through, because it deserves to.
Yeah.
But I don't think all three Kung Fu Panda films deserve to go through at the expense of two of the How to Train Your Dragons, to be honest. So yeah, How to Train Your Dragon.
Perfect. How to Train Your Dragon goes through to the next round. And for the final matchup in this round, we'll start off with yourself, Jordan. It's the Boss Baby up against How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World.
Oh wow. Okay. Like, I don't even need to say anything. I'll just say How to Train Your Dragon 3. Like that's easy. That's my favorite one of the franchise. So I'm not even gonna even mention that other movie.
Perfect. I think this is a nice and easy one. Everyone's voting the same way. Do you agree, Ted?
Yeah, I'm still annoyed about Lego Batman getting snubbed for Boss Baby. So like, anything
Right.
to knock it out, really.
It is an absolute disgrace. It's an
Yeah.
absolute disgrace. Jen, do you agree as well?
I mean, we really got to blame Will Ferrell for showing his face. That's really the only reason that they didn't get the animation nod, because the Academy is weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, Boss Baby it's very unique in its own right. Probably not
Some
for a
weird
good
way.
reason, but Hidden World, like, yeah, it's not my favorite, but it is stunning animation once again, and it really showcases Toothless, because like he kind of takes more of a forefront for this one, so you get to see all the beautiful little quirks that the animators give him as a character, and it's really fun to watch. So yeah, Hidden World.
Hidden World goes through to the next round. So we start off the next round, and all right, from here on out, we might have one easy-ish one, maybe two, but like it's.
I'm gonna start
really,
getting mean now.
It gets tough.
We
All right.
definitely are. We definitely are. And Ted, you're going to start it off with the Prince of Egypt against Shrek.
Listen, Shrek
Oh,
is
man.
Shrek is the one that put DreamWorks on the map. Like, let's not pretend anything otherwise.
100%. It's probably the most famous of the DreamWorks films. When you think of DreamWorks, you think of Shrek.
Yeah, like Shrek put it on the map. Like, I think that even just for that alone, it should go through. I don't think Shrek would get beaten by a whole lot of things, to be honest. Like, honestly, when you told me you were doing DreamWorks, my first thought was Shrek is probably just going to win this. Like, that's because the first film that comes to my mind when I hear DreamWorks, and I don't see it being beaten by anything that came before, and very few that came after it, to be honest. So, yeah, Shrek for me.
One vote for Shrek. Do you agree the same way? I know you love Prince of Egypt, Jen. I know you really do. But does it beat out Shrek for you?
It's tough because they are so different. They could not be any more different. I think I'm going to give it
miracles when you believe.
There can be miracles. like Prince of Egypt, like it was just to sit down and say, as a company, we're going to tackle this like very well-known traditionally religious story for kids, but it's not really for kids, it's for everybody. But like to make it like digestible and at the same time beautiful, whether or not you believe in the story that is being told, it's still a lovely story to listen to. And then they also they hit moments that very religious moments, and they really hit so well. And it's so complicated to go and do that without being disrespectful or preachy. And they managed to do it. And like we talked before about the music, this could easily just be a full-on stage show. And I think it would be a total hit, Tony Award winner, because it is beautiful music. I love hearing it. Shrek is fun and definitely helped DreamWorks become the thing it is today. But that's not necessarily a good thing. As we've seen, there's been some serious dips. So knowing that Shrek was the thing that gave them money and they continued to suck it dry, I think that has helped me make a decision here. So I am going to give it to Prince of Egypt, but I got nothing but love for Shrek. So.
Yep. But in Prince of Egypt, did they have a character who wants to make you waffles in the morning? I mean, that's the big question.
I feel like that guy in the desert, the father-in-law, would make some great waffles. So yeah.
Jordan, it is a really tough one to decide. Which way are you going in this one?
So for me, I gotta go with the Prince of Egypt for sure, just because I have so much love for that movie, and there can be miracles, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna overtake Shrek, and also too, there's just so many scenes that just really just get to me. Like when you have Moses' brother Aaron, and the mom has to send him down the river because if not, the baby's gonna get killed, and then he has to just forge for himself and find his own life, and just the whole story is just incredible story, and whether or not it's from the Bible or not, it works either way, and the music is just incredible, and it's probably one of my favorites soundtracks with original music of all time. So yeah, it definitely gets my vote.
I have to say I'm completely shocked there. The movie must have hit differently over in the States than it did over in Ireland, because I can guarantee
it is good. It does hit.
It is
the religious. It does do religious stuff very well and without being overly preachy and stuff. And I do understand that. But I can't believe that Shrek is going to get knocked out.
Yeah, me too.
I thought what you get for bringing Americans on. That's what happens.
You're
not going to get any chills from that Shrek soundtrack with I'm a Believer and all that stuff. It's not.
I get chills every day listening.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Hallelujah on there. It was great.
Yeah, true.
But I could guarantee in Ireland, and anyway, I could ask 100 people on the street which movie is better. And 100 people would tell me Shrek. I can guarantee it.
No, maybe 90.
Is it because of the accent? Is that what's going on? Is it the Scottish accent that you guys are hanging on to?
Well, we do relate a bit to that. I mean, but it's just the way it was marketed, even over here. It was just there's no.
I mean, it's a juggernaut. I totally understand that. So
yeah.
I'm floored by that. I thought Shrek was actually going to win the entire thing.
Yeah, as I said.
Comments.
Yeah. Next up, and I can't believe I'm still in shock here. Next up, we'll start with yourself, Jen. Hopefully, it's the end of this movie. It's the B movie up against against Kung Fu Panda.
I forgot B-movie's still in it. Oh my god.
Should we just vote for it just because?
I know, should I vote for it just to be like for the hell of it?
Yeah.
I'm kind of the reason that Kung Fu Panda is still here, so it'd be weird for me to not vote for it now. But yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm giving it to Kung Fu Panda. Like, I love that film. B-movie, you had a really strong run today, but yeah, I think it's the end of the line.
I mean, getting to the quarterfinals isn't a bad shout
Who
at
would've
all
thought?
for the bid movie. There's one vote for Kung Fu. What about yourself, Jordan?
So, which Kung Fu Panda did you say it was?
The first one.
Okay, well, the first
It's
one.
the only,
yeah,
it is the only one left in it.
I would maybe give it slightly.
Actually, no,
over
sorry.
I think-
Number two.
maybe.
Number
Two is
number
still
two is still in as well.
Two's still
Still
there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before the original though, like the original, like for me, it's between 1 and 3 as which one that I like more, and so yeah, I gotta give it to Kung Fu Panda. Yep.
That's two.
But if it was number 2, I'd be plenty happy to throw a wrench in the works and then put it over 2. But this is the original we're talking.
Perfect. Ted, would you have gone the same way?
Do
If
it.
it actually mattered, I probably would have gone for Kung Fu Panda. But it doesn't matter if I go for Kung Fu Panda because it's already gone through. So I'm gonna give B movie.
Let the record show.
Yep.
B-movie got a vote in the last round.
One of the
Yeah, we're not fighting.
weirdest, one of the weirdest films I've ever seen. Like just
Yep, perfect. There's no arguments there. It is definitely one of the weirdest movies that you could see. So next up, Jordan will start off with yourself. It is Kung Fu Panda 2, and it's going up against Rise of the Guardians
Ooh, it's an interesting one.
for a
I think
spot in
actually-
the semifinals.
Yeah, so I think I actually got to give it to the Rise of the Guardians. Like I was pretty surprised by Rise of the Guardians, and Kung Fu Panda 2 is my least of the 3 that I like the best. So and yeah, like I kind of want to. Well, as I have like
They're coming to get
fire
you.
truck going outside my window.
They're really mad the
but-
B-movie got knocked out.
Yeah, they're like
pretty much Shrek got knocked out.
Yes.
But yeah, like we've been talking about Rise of the Guardian. Kind of makes me want to watch it again. So like I might even give it another watch. But yeah, I got to go with Rise of the Guardians. I think.
Or just one vote for Rise. Ted, what about yourself?
Rise of the Guardians all the way. I'm big man on Rise of the Guardians. Kung Fu Panda 2 is it is very good. Like all 3 of them are very good to be honest. But Rise of the Guardians is just it's its own standalone film, and it's for the slightly older crowd. I don't know if you'd want to sit your child down and be like, I need a couple of minutes peace. Stick on Rise of the Guardians. The kid will get creeped out, but to sit down and watch with kind of a slightly older child and to enjoy yourself, it's very different to all the other ones, so it'll keep you entertained in that
True.
way rather than watching Kung Fu Panda 1, 2 and 3 on loop, I suppose. I'll give it to Rise of the Guardians.
Perfect. So Rise of the Guardians is going through. Does Kung Fu Panda 2 get any love there, Jen? Does it?
No, I'm gonna make it unanimous. Like I'm betting on the dark horse here. Like Rise of the Guardians, it's cool. Like that is a cool film. It is for an older audience, but yeah, between these two, if I was given the choice, I would most likely put on Guardians. So like I love Kung Fu Panda 2, but between the two, there's a lot more going on in Guardians. So yeah.
Perfect. That's Rise of the Guardians going through unanimously. And we have a tough one here. And I'm sorry to do it is, but it's another in-franchise war. It's How to Train Your Dragon 2 against How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Oh, jeez.
And Ted, you can start off.
I don't know. 3 kind of wrapped it up nicely, didn't it? Like
It did.
There's nothing coming after that, it doesn't look like there's anything coming after that, which I really like because it means they've done it well, and I'm not going to be given something. I'm not going to be given something else that's going to tarnish it. So I really like that they did that. 2 was brilliant as well, though. I I don't really know that it matters which one goes through here particularly. But for me, the fact that 3 did tie itself up and looks like it's made sure they're not going to tarnish it, I'll give a vote to that. But honestly, if either one going through they're both as good as each other, I think.
Perfect. Like all 3 of these films, if we were doing Jordan's show on Movie Hero, like all 3 of the How to Train Your Dragon films would be S tier. I don't think you can argue that.
Yep, all the way.
It would be, like it's S1, S2, and S3.
Yep.
There's very little between all 3 of them. It's just a tough one to decide. Jen, which way would you go?
I like, these are both great films. I probably need to see 3 again, but I got to give it to 2 because that is my favorite of the franchise. And I think the reason that I didn't connect so much to 3 as I did to the other 2 was because it did feel a little bit of a retread in terms of a villain. Because like in 2, you're introduced to I don't remember the actual character's name, but Jimon Hansu's character with the big alpha dragon and everything. In the 3rd one, like they're hunters, but it had a very similar vibe to that. So I was like, oh, we've kind of seen this already. And the thing that was new was more of the Toothless finding another Night Fury or Light Fury or whatever. So that was really the thing that was different. But the transition from 1 to 2, I think for me was such a bigger step up than this transition from 2 to 3. Like 1 to 2, it expanded the world. It became a whole other adventure story that I think grew with the audience because it was a couple of years in between. It's like you're coming into your own and you're getting all these new responsibilities. And then to also include the story of the mother and the parent relationship, it's more complex than what happens in 3 for me. So I got to give it to 2, but I wouldn't be unhappy with either of these going through. So
yeah,
it's true. I'm in agreement with you, Jen. Number 2 is my favorite of the franchise as well, and for me it would go 2, 1, 3, and that's not saying anything bad about 3. I mean, it's still one of the best animated films you could find out there.
It's gorgeous to look at, no matter what. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, it's a phenomenal film.
It could just be a screensaver in the background of my life, and I'd love it. So.
Right. Oh, exactly. Like it's still an amazing film, but I think number 2 is the best in the franchise. Just in my own opinion. Do you agree, Jordan, or you have the deciding vote of which one's going through?
Well, so are we doing spoilers here, or are we able to say, or do you want to keep it? They're years old at this stage. Turn it off if you don't want to hear this. But I think that How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World had one of the best endings to a trilogy that I've almost ever seen. It was a perfect ending, and like that. The moment when they had to separate because you had to stay behind with the dragon and they couldn't be together was like really got me like emotional. Like it was just a really, really like awesome moment, but sad too. But like as far as as emotional, it is really powerful, and it's like a perfect way to just wrap it up. And they're not just kind of dangling anything there for another sequel. They really wrapped it up well, I thought. And so yeah, for me, I got to give it to the 3rd movie. I think How to Train Your Dragon 3. I think number 2 is my second favorite. That's the next one. I think for me it goes 3, 2, 1. But yeah, I got to give it to number 3.
Okay, number 3 goes true. Okay, so we have a strong semi-finals in it here, and we'll start it off with it's Jen. You're going to vote, and I'm worried the way this is going to go now.
Here we go.
Why isn't Shrek here, for God's sake?
I know. That's why I'm worried, Ted. That's why I'm worried, because it's the Prince of Egypt against Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, you might want to be a little worried.
Look, as we said earlier on, you can't vote against Jack Black.
Ogre versus a big panda. An ogre versus a big panda. That's what I was going to be getting. And now I've got Moses against a panda.
I know. I feel your pain, Ted. I feel your pain. What way are you going here, Jen? I know it's a tough one.
This is very tough. but I feel like I hopped on the Prince of Egypt train early, and I gotta just ride it as far as I can.
Yep.
So
Right
while I love Kung Fu Panda, there's nothing else like Prince of Egypt. Okay, that's the thing. Like they tried to do Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I think it was a straight to video kind of situation or whatever.
Yeah.
But like in terms of looking at other films that were not direct spin-offs, no other film looks like that film. Like that, it's very distinct in its animation style, and I really appreciate that they really took the time to create characters that were unique. Whereas like so often, like if you look across the CGI stuff for DreamWorks, like they all kind of have that similar rounded quality to them. It has become more complex as it goes, and it's become more beautiful and complicated. But Prince of Egypt is still, like, to this day, it's so striking, and the score and the story and the voice cast, like if you just like see the sequence of the plagues between Val Kilmer, Moses, and the Pharaoh Ray Fiennes, like that is a beautiful duet, and it's set to this backdrop of just beautiful animation, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite animated sequences ever. So yeah, I'm still going. My apologies to all of Great Britain, but apparently I'm the only fan of Prince of Egypt.
But skadoosh. What about yourself, Jordan?
Well, for me, I feel like if I vote against the Prince of Egypt,
this has become a culture war now.
yeah, right. Like if I vote against it, I'm gonna get the 7 plagues of Egypt like rain down upon me, right? Just gonna. So I don't know if I can do it, but yeah, and also too having Patrick Stewart in there, Sir Patrick Stewart as the Pharaoh. That's pretty cool.
You got Steve Martin and then Martin Short as like these little con men. Like it's fun.
Yeah, like it's so good, and it has lighthearted moments. It has some heavy-handed moments, some emotional moments, like great music, great everything. Like I gotta go with the Prince of Egypt. I mean, I don't think that Kung Fu Panda is gonna have great everything. A lot of great.
Aren't you glad you invited us?
I'm just like, what is going on here?
If I told you, you might want to be a little worried.
I think I'm beginning to be very worried. Ted, I know you're my man. You would have gone with Kung Fu Panda, wouldn't you?
Listen, right.
Maybe.
First of all, I resent this Great Britain comment that was made, right? My ancestors worked very hard to kick those dirty Brits out of this country, all right? Not a British man, an Irish man. Nothing against the Brits, you know. It's all in the past, but I won't be referred to as a Brit or a tan or any sort of British nonsense. But, listen, I get it. You know, you picked your train and you're on it. You know, I get it. I've done this plenty of times, and I've pushed things way further.
We killed Carl. He fell over.
Yeah.
I've pushed certain films very far in Carl's previous episodes.
Yes, you have.
Way further than they probably should have, and I really do a good job of it. So I completely understand.
What was the first one, Ted, in the '80s action movie? Which one did you get? To the semifinals.
Oh, I put all my
from
eggs
New York, I think.
No. I do like Escape from New York, but no, I put all my eggs into the basket of
Big Trouble in Little
China.
Yeah,
Big Trouble in Little China.
Brilliant.
Put all my eggs in that
he got that into the semi-finals because he's doing what you guys did.
So I completely get it, and I'm all about people putting all their eggs into that train and going for it. Personally, I'd put Kung Fu Panda through, but it's not going to go through, so I'll give it its pity vote. But
I can sense the pain in your voice doing that as well.
I'm more annoyed with Shrek going out, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
I'm more annoyed that Shrek got knocked out than Kung Fu Panda. I will say that. I don't know if I'm annoyed. I'm shocked, more shocked than annoyed.
Yeah, exactly.
I do appreciate people putting their eggs in a basket and going for it.
So Jordan, you get the first vote in the next one. It's Rise of the Guardians against How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Oh.
This is gonna be
Decisions. Yeah. I think at this time I gotta go with How to Train Your Dragon 3. I just think that movie is just like so beautiful, so just like like heart wrenching. It's just a great story. I gotta go with How to Train Your Dragon 3, but I'm still gonna watch the Rise of the Guardians this week at some point. That's on my to-do list.
Perfect. Ted, I know you've championed Rise of the Guardians. Speaking
Listen,
of,
if I can see Shrek and Kung Fu Panda dumped out, put that in the bin as well. All right, Rise of the Guardians 3 all the way to the finals. If we're gonna be playing this sort of crap, knocking out the big hitters, knock out the last big hitter. Go on, let's have a scary final, huh? Something no one expected. Rise of the Guardians, put it in, knock that How to Train Your Dragon out. You're gonna knock Shrek out. You're gonna knock Kung Fu Panda out. Knock out that piece of trash as well. It's not a piece of trash, but like, you know, put it in the bin.
So Jen, please give me some sort of normalcy.
Come on, let's go.
Please give me some normalcy, Jen. Please
Here's
do.
the thing.
It's Rise of Guardians against How to Train Your
Either
Dragon
of the
3.
other two dragon films,
no!
they would easily get it.
Oh no!
Yes.
But I don't like the third one as much. So you know what? Dark Horse. Here we go. Rise of the Guardians. Go into the final.
By the way, my vote for number 3 over number 2 was based solely on the fact that I knew other people didn't like 3 as much as 2, and I was going to be upset.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh god. Okay, I would have put money on it that this would not have been the finals.
Yeah, I would have put money on Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon would have been the finals, to be honest. Yeah, I'd have been straight down Paddy Power and dropping the cash.
Yep, cold hard money that this would have been the finals, but somehow we ended up here. Somehow we got here. The finals of the Sherlock reel for the best DreamWorks film is Prince of Egypt against Rise of the Guardians.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how we got here, but
Something went very awry along the way.
I think it's
we
pretty
somehow
fair to
lost
say,
ourselves.
I think it's pretty fair to say that there's the vote's just going down to Jordan, really, because I think we both know where my vote is.
Yep.
Like, we all know where my vote
Yeah,
is.
go Jordan last. Yeah.
Like, we know where my vote is.
Oh, Carl,
you know,
you've led us astray.
it's going to it's going to Rise of the Guardians. All right, it's the most adult of the kind of films that they did do. Like, not adult, but you know, more teenage kind of side. And that was a big risk for them, I think, to go that route in comparison to playing it safe and going with, you know, the kids are like this, parents will be able to just bring the kids and they can just watch this. I think this was a bigger risk for them. I think they were thinking along the lines of, well, we have these people from watching the younger films as they've grown up. Maybe they'll have stuck with us because they'll be like, oh, DreamWorks, I used to love those films, and they took a risk. It didn't particularly seem to pay off for them because the film didn't do as well as it should have, I think. I think if it came out, well, not now because no one's able to go to cinema, but like at this sort of time, I think it would do a lot better. So like, I'm going to go for that. I think it was a really interesting plot line to go with as well. The kind of, I don't want to give too much spoilers on it, but like the way it did go. Yeah. And I will say, listen, Jordan, you said, you know, anything with Guardians is brilliant, and those are your words. You know, I'm not making these. I'm not putting words in your. I'm not putting words in your mouth. You also said you're going to go watch this film. You know, that's it. That's how much you're hyped on it. You're going to go watch. You're going to go watch that other stuff.
So long. I've only seen it once, but
you're getting in there preemptively there, Ted.
Yeah. When's the last time you seen the other one? You know.
Jen, which way are you going? I think I know which way.
I know we're on like full on bribery now. Like, you don't secretly know that I'm like definitely putting money on the side here. No, like I love Rise of the Guardians. It's really cool. They go in directions that I applaud them for because it is actually a lot darker than I think people either know or realize going in. Like the whole Jude Law nightmare character, like that is a really cool villain. It has a really cool stylistic quality to it, and like to just like it's a holiday film. Like it's a holiday film that covers a bunch of different holidays. So like it should be getting more push in terms of like play on like cable and stuff when it comes to these things. But whatever. So I'm really proud of it for getting this far. Didn't think that would happen. But yeah, I am absolutely. I started this train. I've just been shoveling coal in the entire time. When I tweeted out that I was going to be on this show, I picked a Prince of Egypt gift. I did not think that it was going to win, but I was like, I'm going to put that in. So I've chosen my allegiance, and I'm going to stick with it. But yeah, I absolutely like this is a masterpiece to me. I absolutely love it. Like if it was just the score alone, it's Hans Zimmer's score, guys. Like if that wasn't in it, I don't think it would have really hit and stayed in my mind as strongly as it has. Like Zimmer is a brilliant composer, particularly when it comes to animated films, because like there's this and Lion King and like each one like they just it hits. So it raises the bar, and it's a beautiful story, and like it's there like we have two kind of creepy films in the final here. Like I thought it was gonna be like Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon, like which are there's some deep stuff in there, but it's packaged in this really cute, nice little bow. Whereas these ones, like there's like literal death in both of these. It's like a major component of both of these films.
Point, yeah, it's the starting plot point. Of both,
yeah, like the whole sequence of like the plague where like the firstborn and everything, that is a creepy as hell sequence. And just like to have that choice of like you hear the breath being taken away from someone, like that scared the hell out of me when I first saw it. So yeah, like it really hits, it works. I love it. It's a masterpiece. Like if I was gonna like sit down and do like best animated films, like this is one of the ones that I think is a top contender in the States, apparently. But so that is the one I'm gonna root for today. But it would be amazing to see the dark horse win. So I don't know what happened today, but it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, we're not where I thought we'd be.
No, we're definitely not. But Jordan, you get the deciding vote. Which way is it going? Which is the best DreamWorks animation film according to the Sherlock reel?
Well, I think that if you were to go out and ask 100 people on the street, that what studio produced either one of these movies? Like, well, no, I don't think.
I think it would be Shrek and Dragon. I think those are the two that would have been the thing. So,
well, like I don't even think the most people would even think that either one of these are even a DreamWorks movie. They're like, I don't know who produced those movies. I don't. Like it couldn't have been DreamWorks, right? But it is. So, and for me though, it's just hard to vote against one of them, and that one is the Prince of Egypt. I gotta go with the Prince of Egypt, just because there's so many powerhouses there. You got Patrick Stewart, like I mentioned before. You even have Helen Mirren as the voice cast. Yeah, right. Jeff Goldblum. I mean,
Jeff Goldblum, Sandy Bullock.
The cast is just absolutely stacked. And then that song by Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. I feel like when I announced the winner, they need to like cue up that song, like take it away, right? Because like there can be miracles, and miracles happen today. So
I really wonder how this would have gone if we had.
If you had veto power or something.
If we had one extra person on the panel, how this would have
once Jordan logged in, it was a whole other ball game. It would have been very different.
Yeah, 100%.
But I find it fascinating that we came down to two standalone films. Because I think that's really what happened here, was everyone had their own franchise installment that they were trying to champion, and it ended up knocking each other out. So that's what happened. So originality wins the day.
Here's the question though: if it had come down to Shrek against How to Train Your Dragon 3, which one would you have voted for?
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I probably would. As much as I love How to Train Your Dragon series, I thought Shrek was going to win this whole thing.
Yeah, probably go Shrek. Honestly, between those two, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
but there we have it. Prince of Egypt wins. So we're going to go around the board. He's going to promote anything that you have up and coming. Jordan, we'll start off with yourself. What do you have up and coming?
So you can find me all over the Movie Hero Network. We just put out an episode yesterday of the best movie sequels of all time. So we had Jeff Snyder and
you had How to Train Your Dragon, and you had
actually had some of these on the list actually. So we had Jeff Snyder and Paige Fabretti on. So that just went out yesterday, and then next week we're going to do a little bit of a more lighthearted episode. We're going to do a post Mother's Day episode. So we're doing best and worst TV moms. I think that's going out next Friday. So that should be a good time. And then we also have a Saturday Night Live show that we do called Live from Movie Hero. So it's me and my co-host Austin Pezhao, and we're going to be talking about about a couple episodes from season 12, and then there's the one hosted by Bronson Pinchot. He played Valky from Perfect Strangers, and then also we have one from season 34 hosted by Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So we're kind of mixing it up from two different eras. We'll be talking about that. That should be a great time. And then we also have podcasts coming out soon. Probably within 1 to 2 weeks, we'll be starting that podcast up, and the podcast will be a chance for us to kind of talk about some things other than movies all the time, because mostly we talk TV and movies. We're going to kind of delve into our personal lives and things like that, so that should be fun. So I'll definitely post about that one. And then I also run the Facebook group Schmodown Friends and Family. So if you have anything you want to promote, if you have a YouTube channel that you do, or if you have any special project that you're working on, you can post your heart's content on in that group. And we also talk plenty of Schmodown over there. So yeah, but that's really
perfect. Great. And Ted, anything coming up yourself?
Yeah, so Retrotainment is the name of the show that I do, part of the Dynamo Podcast Network, which has loads of other shows on it for football, wrestling, music, all different stuff. So pretty much something there for everyone. Our next one is going to be on Ace Ventura 2.
nice.
I can never remember which one's called which, but it's the second one, which is the one with the rhino. That's all you need to say. Yeah, when you hear that, it's the one with the rhino.
It's the rhino.
Yeah, that's all that anyone needs to know about the film. It's the one with the rhino. So yeah, with my co-host Greg, that's what we'll be releasing tomorrow at 2:00.
Perfect.
Irish time, not US time.
And Jen, yourself, anything coming up?
You can find me, Jen Kemp, at JK Meme Queen on Twitter and Letterboxd. I haven't really updated my Letterboxd in a really long time because I could say I'm being strategic by not showing what I'm watching for Schmodown, but no, I'm just lazy. But yeah, you can find me in the Schmodown. I don't currently have a match on the docket yet, but if you haven't seen the free-for-all, spoiler alert, I'm in the free-for-all. And I'll also be on the PJ Campbell Network next Wednesday for Suddenly Soundtracks, where we kind of dive into an entire album. We're going to be covering Abbey Road next Wednesday, the 19th. It's going to be a lot of fun. I absolutely love that album. So I'm probably going to cry because it's great. But yeah, I was really happy to be here. Like, honestly, I'm always up for any kind of movie discussion. So yeah, I'm around.
Excellent, perfect.
Nice.
And I need to say, you performed fantastically in the free for all. It was it was really cool seeing you get so far and so close.
Yeah,
I was rooting for you at the end.
I gotta say, the minute that Alien Covenant was mentioned, my mind was gone, because all I'm seeing is Fassbender saying I'll do the fingering, and then my mind is useless for the rest of the day. So that's why I lost, guys. That's really it. So.
That's reasonable. So that is the end of the show, and I'll be coming back again now in 2 weeks when the topic will be we'll be doing the same thing here again, but it'll be the top 32 grossing films in the box office history, and discussing to try and find which one is the best out of that. I know there may be a lot of superhero films in there. There really is, but there's some strange ones getting thrown in there, like somehow Minions is in within the top 32. So we'll see. We'll see how we get and find out which one is the best, which deserves to be ranking on top there. But other than that, thank you all very much for joining. Make sure to share and subscribe. My name is Carl Sherlock, and this was the Sherlock Reel. Thank you.
See you later.